The Samsung Galaxy Book3 Pro 360 comes with a very gorgeous 3K AMOLED display. It has probably the biggest trackpad I have ever seen on a laptop. The Intel 13th Gen processor also gives this laptop amazing battery life. This is a Samsung laptop and I'm using it to make a drawing. It is one of the most exciting laptops of this year and its name is the Samsung Galaxy Book3 Pro 360. The name is a bit of a mouthful, I know, but wait till you hear about its features. So right off the bat, it gets a stunning 16-inch 120Hz AMOLED display combined with a 360-degree hinge, which transforms it into a tablet or a drawing screen in an instant. It also has one of the biggest trackpads ever, and despite being a 16-inch device, its profile is very slim. It is just about 12.8mm thick, and speaking of thick, your wallet also needs to be just that if you want this machine because of the hefty price tag it carries. But considering all that, is the Samsung Galaxy Book3 Pro 360 worth shelling out this much money? And is a 16-inch touchscreen display really worth it? Or maybe it is going to kickstart the revolution of big screen laptops in the near future? Well, keep watching because we will find out together. Before we get started, there's a very cute subscribe button down this video. It would be very helpful if you can press it, and press the like button if you find this video helping you out in any way. So the Galaxy Book3 Pro 360 I have in my hands is the top spec version. It comes with an Intel Core i7 PCIe processor, which does feature 12 cores but is ultimately a chip suited to provide more efficiency instead of outright performance. Now this particular build cost almost 1.80 lakh rupees, but you can get it for as low as 1.56 lakh rupees for the Intel Core i5 variant, but you can only get it with the 512GB variant, as the 1TB SSD variant is restricted to Core i7 only. But you can upgrade the storage on this device using the M.2 slot provided inside. But unfortunately, you cannot upgrade the 16GB LPDDR5 RAM, which is soldered to the motherboard. Samsung only has one option available for the RAM, and it is a bit bummer because in a device this expensive, an option for 32GB RAM should have been present. Thankfully, every variant of the Samsung Galaxy Book3 Pro 360 comes with the same 16x10 3K AMOLED display, and it looks very sharp and very gorgeous. We actually had a lot of fun testing this display in our Digit Lab, and we found it is just as good as the Samsung claims. I mean, it has 5 different built-in color profiles and each of them is color accurate, meaning if you are a professional who does color correction work, this screen is perfect for you. The DCI-P3 L*A*B color volume in our test came out to be 115%. This number is more than 100%, and it means that this laptop shows you all the colors in the DCI-P3 color spectrum. And if you are an artist or any creative professional, it is a good news for you because this display will show you a wide variety of colors, and most importantly, it will display them accurately. Moving on, I also found the 3K resolution a good compromise compared to a 4K for a better battery life. And the 450 nits of peak luminance makes this screen very bright and is super important in this case because this display is super glossy and you can even see what's around me on this screen. Now, some people don't like it, but I personally like glossy displays as they give off a really vibrant look. You may or may not like a glossy display, so it is something that you should consider if you're thinking of buying this machine. I also found the 120Hz refresh rate to be more than enough for a laptop which lacks a dedicated GPU. There are barely any games that it can play at 60 FPS, so maxing out the screen's refresh rate won't be an issue, at least with this machine. And because the lid incorporates a touch panel, it also becomes a bit heavy. So when you change the lid's position, there's a bit of a wobble, which quiets down after 2 or 3 seconds. Unsurprisingly, you will also encounter this small wobble if you are typing with this laptop in your lap. The smoothness of the hinge though is very good, and there is no squeaking noise as such when you open or close the lid. Viewing angles are naturally pretty great considering it's an AMOLED display, and therefore watching any HDR content on this screen is simply a delight. Well, another delight on this laptop is the humongous trackpad, which is probably the biggest I have ever seen. I mean, here is the Samsung Galaxy S23 Ultra, and here's how it looks when kept on the trackpad. And you know how whenever you type, you keep accidentally touching the trackpad, which really breaks the flow of your writing? Well, this trackpad is placed slightly to the left compared to the most other laptops. So when you type, your palm stays clear from its edges. It is a very small design change, and I don't think it is even intentional, but it is a really cool and much appreciated one. Lastly, the trackpad is almost uniform in all the places. You can see it is a bit elevated on the left side compared to the right, and it is very precise, smooth, and registers clicks very well. Like there is no wobble when you try and press it. Now the keyboard is just as good. Its keys are not your typical clicky ones. Instead, these are very silent and geared utmost towards productivity. And if you're coming from a MacBook, you will find these keys very familiar. I mean, they do have relatively a bit more travel to them, but still the general feel of typing is similar to a MacBook. Now, it is a full-size keyboard, which means you do get a numpad, and you also get a fingerprint sensor over the power button, which is the only place where it should be. And I hope that you grow up and realize that I am right, in case you choose to disagree with me on this. But ultimately, what makes a keyboard good or bad is a solid chassis, because doesn't matter how much key travel the keyboard has, it will not feel good to type on if the chassis is all mushy. Thankfully, this one is a solid chassis. Now, it is not exactly rock hard, like there is some flex in some areas, but for typing and productivity, it is good enough. But what is more than good enough is this machine's performance. It employs an Intel 13th Gen Core i7 1360p, which has a total of 12 cores. 4 of those are performance cores and 8 of them are low-powered efficiency cores. In terms of benchmarks, you can expect good multi-core and single-core performance, but if you consistently keep running the benchmark, the performance drops down a bit. It simply means that the performance of this laptop is being throttled. Moreover, the 16GB LPDDR5 memory is also blazingly fast, as it is running in the quad channel mode and at a clock speed of 6400 MHz. The performance of the 1TB SSD in this laptop is also very good, as it received a score of 5201 and 4952 MB per second respectively. The performance of the Intel Iris Xe GPU is sort of okay, as you can only do some light gaming or light graphics related tasks with it. Moreover, the PC Mark 10 score, which judges the laptop's overall performance, is also good for a machine that's primarily focused on productivity and office work. And the laptop is doing so just to keep the average core temperature down. As you can see, even the CPU package power, which is the amount of watts the CPU is consuming, and the average clock speed do not go beyond a certain point. And all of this is being done to make sure that this machine runs cooler, quieter, and more efficiently. Like you can easily do things like photo editing, light video editing, browsing the web, streaming videos, and a different combination of office work like writing code, editing documents on this laptop. The I/O ports are also something to talk about here, because even in a laptop this thin, Samsung has tried to include 2 USB Type-C Thunderbolt 4 ports, a USB Type-A port, an SD card slot, and even an HDMI output. They are also spaced apart very generously, so you can easily use all of them in a single time. Now, although there isn't much you can expect from a device like this in terms of gaming, but it can play GTA 5, Death's Door, and Hades very easily at low graphics settings at 1080p resolution. And while the speakers are loud when you keep the laptop on a solid surface, they start to sound really bad when kept on something like a pillow. So, in conclusion, the Galaxy Book3 Pro 360 is a premium device and it comes with features to boot. It would be great if it was available in more affordable configurations, because this entire package is truly great. And just like the laptop, if your workload requires you to be creative and efficient, then I'm pretty sure both of you can do something really awesome together. Now, if you are looking for another thin and light laptop and you can go without a touchscreen and you want a big display, then you can go with the LG Gram 17 as well. This is Yatnesh Dubey. I hope this video helped you out, and I will see you guys next time.